Just fucking do it. Subscribe now. And you're only one step above those imbeciles because you're here. But you're a fucking cretin. Is that, am I saying that word right? Imbecile. And I don't know if imbeciles got more IQ than cretin, or I don't know which one, but it doesn't matter. One of the morons says, why is everything in QLA, especially in the YouTubes, so repetitive? Why do I repeat? So then I read the thread, which I normally wouldn't do, and every imbecile after him is trying to explain why. None of them are right. And then finally, the 82nd thread, or I think it's because we're stupid. And I don't know how to bring that up to the top one. But that is exactly right. Because you're fucking morons. Because your emotional bank account is so fucking low. Now remember I say there's two bank accounts in life, an emotional bank account and a financial bank account. And most of you are worried, and it's already consistent with the kind of questions you guys have asked. How do I get money out? How do I do this? Because you got no money. So you're worried about your financial bank account, right? Okay. But the reason your financial bank account is so fucking low or in overdraft, does everybody understand overdraft? I mean, it's overdrawn. No. Overdraft, it's overdrawn. Because you've never made any deposits in your emotional bank account. In the first 7 or 8 years, it's your parents that make deposits in your emotional bank account. Do you understand that? And because they didn't, because they fucked you, you have none. So the older you are, the more overdrawn you are. And coming here isn't pumping up your emotional bank account. When you go out there and do something, like Andreas, then you're adding to your emotional bank account. Right now, there's not a cocksucker in this room that isn't overdrawn on their emotional bank account. And when you have no emotional bank account, you can't give and add to anybody else's emotional bank account. And that's why all your kids are fucked and will be fucked. And the reason I repeat it is because I'm trying to get you to understand that. I say it in 100 different ways, but you still don't understand it. And these fucking meatheads on fucking YouTube, and they pontificate back, oh God help me. They pontificate back and forth. It's the blind leading the blind. Can we set the YouTube up that there's no comments? Okay. Well, I know what we're doing now. Now, the next thing is, I don't advertise on YouTube. I'm the only guy that I'm aware of that I don't advertise. In other words, you don't see these little ads that come in. Because I think it's insulting. 1. 2, I don't need the money for sure. And 3, I don't want, because a lot of time when the ads come up, then you transfer to something else. And I don't want you leaving and going to something else. Why does everybody else advertise on YouTube? They need the money. Joe Rogan, who's a good shit, I'm told, gets, what did we figure out? $200 or $300 a month because he has so much YouTube and so many people, blah, blah, blah. There's no fucking money, but I mean, it's better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick, right? And he advertises. Everybody else advertises on YouTube or allows people to put ads, except me. Everybody else sells their product. There was one string from some fucking moron from India, some Hindu cocksucker Punjab asshole that was saying, oh, well, if you want free stuff, and then, now I don't know if that the link that he gave was another guy. He says, you can get free information off this guy. Now, when you go to that link, it's my shit. Are people so fucking stupid? Yes, they are. And that's why it's so fucking easy. I spent 15 minutes this morning reading emails from my mentee meatheads They came through here. I didn't know that you wanted to us to report our deals. I did one last week and one 3 weeks ago, Corona deals. Because normally I don't ask them. I'm not interested. But I am interested during Corona. I want to see if there's any different challenges, different kinds of speed bumps. And there aren't any. It is incredible, the fucking stupidity. P.T. Barnum, about 100 years ago, was right. There is a sucker born every minute. I think every second. I think every second. It really is. Even after 27 plus years, it's beyond my fucking comprehension. It's so far beyond my... I think the reason aliens haven't come down and done anything because we're so fucking stupid. That's what I think. Because we're so insecure. I told Brian Rose when we first interview I did in 2014, and he released it on Easter Sunday. Other than I told him I was going to change his life, I said, you have no idea when you're not afraid how it opens up so many millions of vistas. It's like, it's supposed to be billions of universes or bullshit like that, trillions of stars. I mean, when you truly aren't afraid, the options that are open. Guys, I mean, it's a good thing I have a strong heart. But I mean, some of the things that I hear them say and write would stop a strong man. It would stop Hercules' heart. And that's why it's so easy. Yet, and I'm not telling this to put shit on. Some of you are going to falter in the beginning. I mean, in fact, most of you will. The best one of you in this room is going to falter. The best one that's ever sat in this fucking room is going to falter. Because most of you anybody take Greek or Latin in school? Language? Of course not. Fucking illiterate fucks. I don't even know why I asked that. But it's like you're having to learn Greek, which is a dead language. Now, I don't mean Greek like the morons in Greece talk, but I mean Greek from 2,000 or 3,000 years ago. It's like you're trying to learn a dead language. Why is it dead? Because nobody uses it. And the people that have a lot of self-esteem, and there aren't that many of us, believe me, don't even think about it. See, the challenge you're going to have to first get over is having to now, I'm not talking about the guys that don't speak English. Have to translate it into what, and you should ask yourself, what would Dan do? What would Dan do? How would Dan react? What action would he take? And that takes time. That takes time. For me, I don't even think about it. It's me. And at my 70th birthday, the 200, these are hitters that came. These aren't fucking morons that came to my 70th birthday 5 years ago. Asked my daughter, our two sons, my kid brother, my kid brother's wife, my wife, and the two guys that I knew 50 years, 100 times, is this how he really is? The beginning of the third day of the party, it was a 3-day party, my daughter came up to me and said, Daddy, these people really are stupid. I thought you told us that all these years of me growing up just to make me feel better. But they really are stupid. No, honey, you're confusing stupidity with no self-esteem. Some of these guys are rocket scientists. And they're worth rocket scientists there. Because she can't relate either. She's me with a skirt and that tall. And that's an ugly motherfucking combination. Just imagine. And the YouTube, no matter how many times I say it, I'm not just saying it to move my lips. And the reason I repeat it so much is because you are afraid. You are afraid. And the kids that are on YouTube, I don't have the words, and I'm an articulate motherfucker. I don't have the words to describe. Yet you see a 19-year-old we talked about yesterday, which I'm not going to put on the YouTube because I don't want them chasing the poor little fucker down, like a stray dog in the street. Never met him. Don't know him. And he's already done what I want you to go out and do. I know it's possible because I saw Josh Kim at 17 do it. And I've seen 13, 14, 15-year-olds do it. But when you get one out of the blue, and he's standing in front of the Big Four accounting firm that he uses, because he's using their offices, and he looks, it's a lie, he doesn't look 10 years old, but he looks 14, 15. I can just see him going into the managing partner of that office. Oh, fuck. Really, I can't imagine it. And, and he's got the board meeting, and they're setting up a big lunch, da-da-da-da. He's 19. But he's got self-esteem. So what I'm doing now is I'm drilling. I want to know why he's got self-esteem. Just as Sally and I went to Josh Kim's parents, not once, not twice, but 3 different times over a year and a half, because maybe they were acting, but after 3 visits, the real family is going to show up. Why does this 19-year-old kid have self-esteem? And you don't. Because when if there's any similarities, and I believe there will be, between these 12, 13, 15, 19, 17-year-olds, I can better the seminar. I made changes in the seminar 3 years ago after I met Kim, Josh Kim. Not Corona Kim, not my Corona Kim, Josh Kim. And after the third time we met his parents, you have no idea. In Roman times, you go home and cut your parents' throat. For real, not metaphorically. For what they did to you. In Spartan times, your parents would have never made it. They would have been thrown in the pit. They took the kids either 7, 8 years old or threw them in a pit. Your parents would have been in a pit. So you wouldn't have made it. You could have saved 24,000 pounds. You would have made it. It's just, it's beyond exasperating to me. And then I get to and then my own flock says, I didn't know you wanted to tell you Corona deals. I've only said it 500 times. So that's why I'm repetitious. And that's why I continue to repeat, and I beat certain aspects of the QLA system to death. To death. Okay, last night you saw my pretend visual mentor film, Andrew Carnegie, right? That's a little bit of exaggeration, maybe that tall. Takeaways about Andrew. Other than he's not like you. Other than that, takeaways. Yes, sir.
Yeah, he had a strong why.
Strong what?
A why. Why? A reason why he was doing it. It was to restore his mother's shame.
That's part of it, yeah. Now, depending on the story you believe, he left at 7 years old in the hull of a merchant ship and lived with rats, or he left when he was 11 or 12 years old with his dad, who was, he made those things that do sewing in a mill. Either way, he was in the U.S. by the time he was 12 or 13 years old. Okay? No education, no qualifications, right? But his desire to restore his mom's self-esteem was greater than anything else. And unfortunately for you, a lot of you, myself included, I was a mama's boy. They used to say I was connected to my mother's hip. They had to surgically unconnect us, they say, my cousins that are older than I, they had to surgically disconnect me from my mom when I was about 12 or 13. And because, I was looking, because I did have a loving and nourishing mother, almost smothering. My cousins that are still alive say that Dan breastfed till he was 16 years old. Now, there's these in-house jokes or family jokes about my mom who swam across the Rio Grande River as an illegal alien. Now, see, most of the gurus wouldn't tell you that about their families, because they want you to pretend that they came from something else, but I didn't. What else about Andrew? Yes, sir, in the back.
He saw and grabbed every opportunity he could get.
He pulled the trigger almost every time, just as I do. I pull the trigger to excess. To excess. And but I know now, after all these years, but even sooner than this, when I was younger, I could tell that the girl was hot when she walked in the door. I didn't have to think about it. There are guys and gals that in my 30s are still spreadsheeting the deals that I've done to figure out if they were any good or not. And I made $100 million off of, or $500 million. They are still spreadsheeting it. Oil trading used to be very popular when you buy and sell wet barrels for delivery, and that's why one of the reasons I knew that oil was going to go to $5 a barrel, and one of the reasons I knew that it would probably go to zero, because I understand the trading of wet barrels and taking delivery. And when you've got 30 million barrels a day, more or less, in supply in the world, and you only got demand for 12 or 13 million, it doesn't take a fucking genius. But apparently it does take a genius, because I was the only one that predicted negative oil. And so we're going through a trading room. This was a $2 billion company, privately held company. And there's about 15 or 20 oil traders around these machines. And they weren't sophisticated machines like your laptops now. And so as I'm walking by, I said, Tony, wait a minute, So I stopped and looked in, and they were looking at West Texas Intermediate. The difference between that and Louisiana Sweet, there was an arbitrage that existed. In other words, there was a differentiation. If you bought one side and closed the other side, you could make money of about $1 a barrel. And they were all looking at it. So we go to lunch, and even though I didn't used to go to lunch, but this day we went to lunch, and I got tuned up. So it was about a 3-hour lunch. It was an old English lunch, but it wasn't in England. It was in Texas. In England, they used to do shit right back in the city. You got tuned up every fucking lunchtime, and there was a rest room where you could take a nap after lunch. Now, and they had executive bathrooms. You had an executive bathroom, executive toilet that only the executive, it was right. Anyway, so 3 hours later, we come back, and I'm looking at the guys, and instead of 15, 20 around the machines looking at the spreads, there was only about 6 or 8 guys. And I said, what are you doing? He said, we're analyzing the spread. I go off to the office, we have a few more drinks, get fucking tuned up, fucked up, and we come back about 5:45, because now we're going to really get fucked up. And 5:45, there's only 3 or 4 people around the machine. This is you. And I stopped and said, hey, one of the guys' name was John Allen. John Allen, what's the fucking scam? And the spread disappeared. I closed my eyes, took a deep breath, and I said, how much did we lock in? And the market was 100,000 on the bid side and 50,000 on the ask side, the difference between the bid and the ask. We didn't lock any in, Mr. Peña. They say the blood left my head I turned white, and I almost collapsed. What do you mean you didn't lock any? Oh, no, we couldn't figure out why the spread was there, so we never locked it in. That's for those of you in this room. Every fucking one of you wants to know why. It's not important, the why. That's your whole fucking life. That's the whole fucking life of these miserable imbeciles that follow me on YouTube. Another discussion broke out in the YouTube threads. Well, why does he say subscribe, cunt? Why does he still want us to subscribe to his YouTube channel if he doesn't sell anything and he doesn't get paid? They want to know why. Well, I'm going to show them. I'm not going to subscribe, and I'm going to hit dislike. Is that the right word? Hit the dislike button. Like they're hurting me, right? Because the more people that subscribe, even though I don't get paid, I have nothing to sell, the more I spread the word. They only convinced me of YouTube maybe 3 years ago. I had 2,000 followers. Now I have 260 or 70,000 followers. And I don't get paid for it. I want more people to understand. My goal is to have 1 million followers. If Dan Locke has got 2 million, Brian Rose has 2 million, Joe Rogan has 3 or 4 million, all these guys, and I forgot more in the martini that Edward mixed me last night about making money than all those guys I just described will ever know. And they got 10, 20 million between them following on YouTube. The world's fucked up. The world's fucked up. What else about Carnegie? So next time you want to know why, just think of that. Just think of that. Yes, sir.
He believed in survival of the fittest in the free...
Really? Is that a China deal? You know, do the Chinese believe in survival of the fittest? Seriously, do they? No, they don't. If I knew he was going to give me the wrong answer. I knew it. And so it's really, I entrapped you. The Chinese government doesn't believe in survival of the fittest. What are you smoking? If the 1.6 billion people believe, they would overthrow the Chinese government. Okay, but go ahead. Survival of the fittest, go ahead.
And he believed it was a scientific fact that he should be getting to the top. And there's nothing wrong about it.
And today, getting to the top, the kids do think there's something wrong. So when a 10, 11, 12, 13, 14-year-old kid writes me, and he says, yeah, you're right, sir, we're all pussies. And then when they say fuck, they go F, asterisk, asterisk. You know what I'm talking about, right? They don't say the word. Is God going to come down and strike them if they put fuck in the email? You're so trained. You have no idea. I don't get ulcers, I give ulcers. I don't get a heart attack or strokes, I give heart attacks and strokes, and I'm proud of it. I have no fucking stress. You do. I heard at least 2 of you say you were going to have a drink last night to relieve stress. And I'm thinking, what in the fuck stress do we have? What has happened here? I know what's happened. Because you know you're a cunt and the odds are you're not going to be able to do this. That's why you got stress. What you really want me to do is hold your fucking hand and do the deal for you. There's not anybody in this room that will refuse that offer. But even when I do that, because I used to do that, I've tried everything here, and that doesn't work. I've done 1 deal for you. I've done 2 deals. The most I've ever done is 3 deals for one of the kids. That's the most, 3. And after 3, it was me going, Well, you better move to the next box, Dan, because that fucking thing doesn't work. Remember, I used to give this seminar for free in the 90s. Free. I used to fill up big hotel auditorium things at the airport. And the kids complained about the food. It's too hot, it's too cold. Sounds like you, about the too hot or too cold. When are we going to have a break? How come Mr. Peña yells at us? For free, I did the seminars. And I realized that didn't work because I wasn't able to hold you accountable. I now know the more I charge money, the higher the probability that you'll succeed, even though it's still low. The higher the probability because you're serious, because you got skin in the game. Because I certainly don't need your 25 or 25. I haven't had to work in 35 years. And the price is going up, YouTube. It's going to be the new Corona special. Now, people are going to think that I'm giving a sale, right? This is the new Corona special. And they'll be here. We have such a backlog. I could give a seminar till I'm 80. We have people sending us 50 grand, 30 grand. Well, I don't know what the price is going to be, but here, you can keep it on account. I need to make sure that I'm on the list. And the deeper the Corona Valley gets, the more desperate they're going to get. And this is a slight Trump exaggeration. And when they're like dead man walking, that's probably the bottom of the market. But the question is how long are they going to be? And we're in the dead man walking program, you got to shoot him in the head, right? To kill him. You can't, the bullets don't bother him. Who else about Carnegie? Yes, sir, in the back.
He was ruthless, and he put competitors out of business and bought their companies.
And even his mentor, even his buddy, he stepped on his head and made sure he drowned. Guys, that's how it is in the real world. Your best mate. And if you think any different, you're delusional. And if you think any different, it's because they're really not fighting over any money, any real money. But if a guy has a choice to take 20 million from you, he will. If you had one gasp of air left in your breath, in your lungs, he'd stick a fucking fire hose or his dick in it to make sure you didn't get it. That's the real world. And if you think any different, you're delusional. Now, I'm not suggesting you do that. But if you're not prepared for that, then you're not really prepared. Like you, YouTube, you're not prepared. I would seriously consider, metaphorically speaking, that the next lorry you see, or bus, that you just say Hail Mary, whatever you do, and step right in front of it. And do yourself a favor. See you later.